reality, a light flowing down from the heavenlies, and we are here, reaching out. The Word of God is all we need. Who the Son sets free is free indeed. So God, please speak to me, reaching the next generation.
Well, good morning and welcome to, yes, reaching the next generation. But this morning we are going to be working with cooking with the chef. So I want to say good day to those of you that are getting the broadcast. Today we're going to do some, again, oven baked chicken, but we're going to do neck bones today and our cornbread. And we are running well behind, so we have to make use of every minute because we have a very short time and none of the prep is done already. So we're going to get started. I'm going to start with the chicken to get it seasoning in the oven. So today we're going to use a simple seasoning that you could have. I've washed the chicken already, and so now we're just going to lay them out here, and we're going to fix that in a moment so that we can get a shot of the boards. But let's just get this laid out here. So don't forget to go and to like and share the video. Subscribe to our channel, Cooking with the Chef. I know you're on Jerome Jones Ministries channel, but we're only going to be on that channel with the cooking for a little while. And so we really want to encourage you to subscribe to Cooking with the Chef. So we're just going to lay this chicken out here, and actually I could just put them all on one board this morning. We don't have as much as we did the last time, so we're going to get all of this. Now when you're doing chicken wings or any you want seasoning of your meats, put the flat side on the bottom first so that when you turn it over, the skin of your meat will not be right on the surface, so it won't rub your seasoning off of your meat. So we're going to start. The first thing you put on it is onion powder. And this is you put your onion powder on first on all meats. It will help stimulate the other seasonings. Then you can add black pepper. And I'm almost out of black pepper. Then you want to put your seasoning salt. And you can use different brands if you want on your seasoning salt. We use Lawry's, but I also use Supreme and others. And then that's all that you need to put on it. Now you can add some garlic powder, but I'm not going to put any garlic powder on this today. Onion powder, seasoning, onion powder, black pepper, seasoning salt is a very basic seasoning that will flavor any meat that you're cooking. Any meat that you're cooking, that will season it and it will season it quite well. I'm not going to use garlic powder today because I'm going to put a little minced garlic in the flavor in the gravy. So now once you flip it over, you're going to start with your onion powder again. Again, you always put your onion powder on your meat first. And once you season it good with your onion powder, then you go ahead and put your other ingredients on it. And it doesn't matter what meat you're using, always put your onion powder on first. The onion powder is what helps bring out all your other flavors. Then you put your salt, then you put your seasoning salt, and with that you've seasoned your chicken. You know, and once you get that seasoned, the only thing left now is to put it in the pan, put it in the oven. See, I'm running really late this morning, so I'm going to be working at a high speed to get this in. So let me grab my pan. And you're going to put these in, and do not lay them on the flat side, because then again all of your seasoning will rub off of it. So you want to try to lay them on, you know, with the flat side up on your chicken wings. Normally I would have most of this done. I'm running really late this morning. Didn't get up until 8 o'clock after being up until 4 o'clock this morning. I normally, when I'm up that I just come on in the kitchen and get started, you know, but I thought I would try to take a nap, and that had me overshooting the hour. So now that you have your chicken in your pan, you want to look and see, do you have any spots on it that doesn't have any seasoning? And if you do, just sprinkle a little seasoning salt in those spots. And now I've already set my oven to 375 degrees, so I'm going to throw this in the oven. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to prepare some cornbread, so I can get that in the oven, and then following that we'll be working with our neck bones. And today we have some collard greens that I cooked before that we had for dinner, and some steamed cabbage, and I put them in the freezer, and so I'm going to get those ready for today as well. And I'm going to cook a pot of rice, and we're going to be pretty much set. But I've got to keep this going because as I said, I am well behind in the time. So to do the cornbread, we're going to get our containers here. And this is what I don't care for. Not having all of my things in the same place. It should not be like that. Now what you're going to do with the cornbread, we're going to make our cornbread from a Jiffy cornbread mix. I'm going to start with 1 stick of butter, and I'm going to melt the butter. And I'm cooking this cornbread in an iron cast skillet. So we're going to put that in there and get that to melting. And then we're going to get 2 boxes of Jiffy cornbread mix. And the difference is that we will not use the recipe on the box. Okay? So we're going to get 2 of these and dump them in the bowl. Okay. Now, you got those 2 in the bowl. You want to get 4 tablespoons of sugar. That's 4 tablespoons of sugar. Just follow this recipe on your cornbread. It's very simple. You mix your sugar and your cornbread mixed together. And our general rule is mix your dry ingredients together and then add your liquid ingredients. I'm going to move this just a little bit, guys, because I don't think I'm getting enough of this, and I hope that will help the view a little bit better on that. I think so. Now, once we get this here, once we get your sugar and your cornbread mixed together, you get a little, and you mix it up, get the lumps out of your cornbread mix. Stir that up, twist that in really good, the sugar. Now, you see I have eggs here. You want 3 eggs, and try to take them out and let them sit at room temperature. That's what I've done with these. Strike those in a bowl, and we're going to get those all mixed up. And now you're going to add 1 1/4 cup of buttermilk. That's 1 1/4 cup. See, the box recipe doesn't, you won't get that. And so this is buttermilk, so what I want to do is kind of shake it up a little bit, get it all mixed up so that you get see, a lot of the buttermilk heavy liquids settle at the bottom. Now you pour it in there, you'll see that's more richer there. Put 1 cup and 1/4 of a cup. Yeah, that wasn't quite a 1/4. There you go. Now you're done. You take that and you mix that up really good. And at the same time, your skillet has your butter in it. You want to mix these eggs and this buttermilk up really good. Just kind of mix it up really good so that it will be mixed thoroughly all the way through, so that it blends right in as one liquid. So now once you do that, you're ready to put that into your cornbread mix. You pour it right in there. And then you mix all of this in really good now. This is a nice cornbread. You don't have to go through all of the other processes to try to, you know, make your own like that. You can start with a base and make that base your own by putting your own recipe to it. Always stir around the bottom. Make sure that whatever you're mixing it with is scraping the bottom and the sides to get it mixed up really even. And once you get that done, like that, lay that aside. Now we're going to take our butter. This is that one stick of butter that I use, and we're going to pour it right in there like that. So you're going to pour that butter in there right like that, and leave the rest in to serve as greasing your pan. And then now you want to mix that up really good. Once that gets mixed up really good, you're going to be ready to pour it in the skillet. So what I'm going to do, I got two ovens here, so I'm going to put this on 350. And it's already was at 375, and I'm going to turn my other oven on 400. And so now once you have your butter mixed in well, you come here and you just pour it in, but I need to get a spatula here, and you pour it right in the center. And just get it out of there. Now you put this right in the oven up on 350 degrees. Let me grab some. We're going to take this chicken out. In the bottom pan, and we're going to put this here at 350. Put the chicken in the bottom at 400. Okay, now that's your chicken, and that is your cornbread. So you cook that in the oven for about 40 minutes, you know, you just check it, but it should get nice golden brown, and then your cornbread will be ready. The chicken's going to cook for about an hour, then I'm going to put some gravy over it and cover it with foil and let it just simmer. But now we're going to do the neck bones, and what I've done with the neck bones is I put them in this pot. I put the neck bones in this pot already. I washed them once. I put them in this pot, and they are boiling. And I've done nothing with them. I just kind of rinsed them off really good, and I put them in the pot, and I brought them to a boil. Now what I'm going to do is go over to the sink and I'm going to pour this off, rinse them off, and then I'm going to clean them, and then I'm going to put them back in the pot, and then I'm going to put my water in, and then put all my seasonings in, and then that'll be done, and just let it cook until after church this morning. So this is going to go over here, and I think you'll be able to follow us. You just put these in the sink. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move us a little bit closer now, because I'm going to be working on the other end, and I know that we normally don't like to have movement in our camera, but it has to work this way because we don't have all of the setup quite yet, but we're going to get them. So now we have that pot there, and I just want you to see what has to be done to them, because when you're cooking pork neck bones or meats, you want to make sure that you follow the rule for cleaning them. Make sure that they're nice and clean. Now, so far we have our cornbread in, we have our chicken in, and now we're going to do our neck bones. And you see, even though I'm running late, but I'm making up some time by being able to have a systematic way of getting all of this done and continuing to move toward the finish line. So let's go here, because the neck bones takes a minute to do. So what you're going to do is get yourself a little knife, and I'm going to get a little knife, and now it's time to clean the neck bones. And so to do that, I'm going to even bring that a little bit further so that you can see, because this is a part that I want you to see very, very well. So we're going to set this right here, and that should be all right. And I'll pull it up a little bit so that I can get in the picture, because I want you to really always clean your neck bones. Any meat, you want to make sure you clean it. Now remember, I came in and I dumped them into the sink. I rinsed them all off, put them in a pot, fill it up with water, washed them a little bit lightly, dumped that water off, put some more water in them, and brought them to a boil. But now I've dumped all of that water off, and I brought them to a boil, and now I'm going to clean them individually. So you look at them, and there'll be some that you have nothing to do with, and so we're going to get the pot ready to put them right back in the pot. So what we will do here is that once we look at them and they're okay, we'll put them in the pot. But what are we looking for? Well, there's a trike usually in some of them, because the way that they're cut. And so what you want to do is you want to clean that trike out, like that right there. That's your trike. You want to get all that out of there as much as you can do that. do is I make sure I straighten that out, and this is the work that most people's, well, I can't really say most, but I've noticed that a lot of people don't do this part here. They just go ahead and boil them and skip this part because it's the most labor intense part of doing neck bones. But this will certainly affect the taste of them and make them more healthy, because you're supposed to take that out. So you just have to inspect each one of them. You know, each one of them, if they have anything in any trach there, you run your knife through that trach, get that out, rinse them off. See, that's the trach right there. So you just put your knife in and you turn it like that, and that takes all of that out. See, now you got that trach cleaning out there. Rinse it out. You won't have to do all of them because they're cut in pieces. But you should be able to spot it really easy once you know what you're looking for. And that most of them will look just like that. That's a little trach. There's not much in there, but you don't pass over it. You clean it out. It'd be hard to season your meats to perfection with that in them. See that again? Put your knife on one side and turn it right up against the bone and turn it like twisting your knife. See how you taking that out? See, now that's much better. When you're cooking, you want to take time to make sure that you do all of these little things, because you're cooking so that people can enjoy what's set on the table. So you just pick up each piece, you're inspecting it. If it has a trach, you clean it out till you got all of them done. Now that's the neck bones are all washed. You simply fill them now back with water. And you want to put your water in so that it just covers your meat about a 1/4 inch over your meat. And then we're going to sit this pot back on the stove and set it on medium-high heat rather. Bring it to a boil and put all our seasonings in it, you know, and then turn it down and let it just simmer. Let it boil for a few minutes and then we'll turn it down. And normally I could cook these in the day before, but again, I am late starting today, so I'm going to put this pot on, and it will cook all the way through church. So I still have 3 or 4 hours. So now that is on the stove, and that means that we are pretty well done as far as having to make a dish, because the neck bones are on the stove and the chicken is in the oven cooking, and the cornbread is in the oven cooking as well. So everything that we have to do so far is in the oven cooking, you know, and or on the stove. So that's your neck bones. That's your I'm gonna set this back over here. I know we're doing all kinds of things this morning that's unorthodox for what we're doing, but that's okay. You know, one of the great quotes that I heard a gentleman say, he said, "Don't let perfection be the hindrance to progress." In other words, you may not have all the tools set up, you know, the ones that you want, but don't just not do anything, you know, get it done, do something. So we're going to set this now back down here, and we are ready now to do the next thing. You see that's let me know that the oven is at the right temperature. And so what do I have to do next? We're going to season our neck bones. You know, we're just going to season them now. And so to do that, when I started this morning, I peeled 3 onions, and I cut them in half, and I put them in the freezer. And that is so that when I get ready to chop them up, they won't burn the eyes. So that's one of the tips that will keep them onions from burning your eyes, okay? So now what I'm going to do is grab the onions out, chop them up, put them in the pot, put some seasonings in the pot, and then just let them cook. There's not much you can do. And then I will finish seasoning them just before I leave to go to church. And when I say finish seasoning, is that I'll have a chance to taste and see, do I need any more seasonings in it after they done cook for an hour, you know. So that's the purpose of that. And so one of the things that I'm going to do now is, as I said, is I'm going to get the onions and make sure that I can cut them up. And I've got all 3 of them here. And they are nice and cold. And we're going to turn this back up. So now we're going to chop up these onions right there. These are just regular medium-sized onions. You know, I'm cooking for, 12 or more people. You wouldn't use as many, but it's good to make a pot like this when you do cook it so you can have some left over and have a second meal out of it without having to cook it a second time. See that? Freezer kills that spray that comes from the onion that affects your eyes. So we're going to put that a little bit there. So we're just going to cut these up. They don't have to be cut up really small. This is just a couple of onions, small to medium. Now we're going to take these and throw them right in the pot. Just like that. Now we got those in. We're going to, at this time, we're going to add our other seasonings. And we're going to do our garlic, our onion powder rather. Then we're going to do our regular salt, not seasoning salt, so I have to get that. The regular salt. Black pepper. I'm almost out of black pepper, so I'm using this. And we're going to put some chicken broth, liquid chicken broth in there. And we're going to add a little minced garlic. Just a couple spoons of that minced garlic. Now, on your neck bones like that, you can get a thing of brown gravy and just put it right in there with it, or pork gravy, put it right in there. That'll really help bring some flavor. So let me see, do I have any? I think I got a little pork gravy. So what I'm going to do is use onion gravy, and I'll put that in the pot after they start cooking really, really good. So let's see here. Let's make sure we mix that up. And then I'm going to put a little hot sauce in, or a jalapeno pepper. Cover them up and let them work. See, can I get this jalapeno pepper? Try to keep this stuff where I know where it is, because I do the Sunday dinner. So I'm gonna put one, two of these jalapenos in that pot with the neck bones as well. And once I do that, I won't rest these off. And you just slice them long ways, just not long ways, but crossways. Just slice them up and throw them right in the pot. I won't put any hot sauce in the pot until I give these a chance. And we're going to leave these there for the chicken, and that'll make that done. And now we also have this is a little package of sazon. It makes a good flavor for anything like gravy, meat, vegetables. So you can just I can put 3 or 4 of these in that pot, as big as that is. So I'm going to add a couple of these to it, because I want the flavor to cook in it. I want the flavor to cook all the way in the meat. So I've got that. Now I want some smoked paprika, so I'm going to put a little of that in there. And you can season your neck bones to how you want. Just remember the basic core of things that I'm using, and that is your, just your onion powder, your black pepper, your salt, and I'm going to put some accent, jalapeno pepper, chopped onions, and that's your basic. And then you will add things to it. If you want a different spice to go in it, you can do that. Once you get your base core in your meat, it's going to be good. It's going to be good for you. So now we're going to add a little of this accent. Because see, I've I don't have as long to cook these, so I'm making sure all of my gravies, all of my seasonings are in while it is cooking from the very beginning, so that it will cook all the way in it. Now, that's it on the setup for the neck bones. They're just gonna cook. There's nothing else that I need to do to them right now. Right now we have chicken is in the oven. Our cornbread is in the oven, and our neck bones is on the stove. Okay, so now what I am going to do, check on my cornbread, and it's cooking just fine. I like to turn the lights on just so that I'll be reminded that I have something there. So now, what we're going to do now, what I'm going to do is get the leftover vegetables and get them ready. And we're going to put them in this pot right here. And when you're cooking and you have leftovers, put them in a container, put them in the freezer. When you put them in the freezer, you seal in all of the taste. And when you cook them, eat them the next time, they taste even better. Okay, these are collard greens and got some neck bones in them. And they're still kind of frozen, but I'm going to get them out and get them in the pot. Hopefully, let's see how I'm going to do this. Because I've had them sitting out just a little bit. So maybe I could break it up here and then just slide them in the pot like that. And I get all of them in there. And see, see, we don't throw, we're not throwing food away. We're making good of it. You know, I gotta get this here. Normally you want it, you done got them broken up before all of this. But this can just stay in the pot now like that, as long as it's going inside the pot and there's nothing coming out over the edges. That's all I'm concerned about now. Once I make sure that it all goes in the pot, set it on the stove, turn the fire on, and it will begin to cook. And that will fall down, and I'm going to throw some cabbage in there with it. We have a mixture of collard greens and cabbage together, I think. The next thing is going to be our rice, and you got a rice cooker. And we're just going to throw our rice on. I've got a big bag of it down here that I've got to put. And we're going to put in we're going to put in about 8 cups of rice. Sometimes I get the wrong one of these, so I got to make sure I got 1 cup. We're only going to do 6 cups because it's not as many of us as it was last time. 6 cups of rice. Put some salt in it. Drop a stick of butter in it. Add your water. Put it in the rice cooker. Turn it on, and you're done. Put that right in here. Turn the power on and put it on white rice. Now your rice is set. These are beginning to sink down. Make sure that they stay inside the now. That's your cornbread. So your cornbread is in your skillet pan, nice and brown. It's ready. So now with that being there, you're going to get some butter. And you want to glaze the top of it with butter. Just glaze the top. Now you wouldn't want to cut this. Now you always have to let this sit before you slice into it, because it's still fermenting. And don't press down on it when you're glazing it either. Usually, so you can do it with a brush, but don't press on your cornbread. Glaze it all over good with this butter. And now you're ready. That's done. And I'm going to set this now out of my way, because this is an extremely hot pan, and it will stay hot for a good while. So you have to be always mindful of that. And so what I'm going to do is, because of what the rule is, I'm going to set it over here on the stove. Anything on the stove reminds me that it is hot, or it could be very hot. So we're going to set it here, and that way that'll tell me don't touch the handle. See? So now we have our cornbread out. We have our greens getting soft, and so they're going to get warm. We have our rice on, they're cooking. We have our neck bones here in the pot seasoned. We have our chicken here, and it is cooking. And that's the whole meal. Now I do have some cabbage back here that I may decide to put some of them in with the collard greens. That'll make a good blend of vegetables. And so basically that's the meal, you know. And again, to go back over it, we have our my battery is getting low on this run right here, but we're on another stream, so that's quite okay. But basically we have white rice, collard greens and cabbage, cornbread, neck bones, and baked chicken. So that's the meal that we're having today. And so I hope that you can go back through the video and see how to prepare the cornbread. It's very simple. You know, the process for getting your neck bones, and of course seasoning your meat, the chicken, is the same. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful to you. I'm going to sign off on this one right here, and I'm going to keep this one running for a little while because we still got a little bit more to do. My battery is just going to run out on that one. So on the collard greens here, I want to, now that they're there, I can put the lid over it now, and it will keep that steam in them, and they will soften up faster. Let's see here. Yeah, like that. And I'm going to go ahead and put the cabbage in its own pot. See, these are leftover cabbage. And I'm just going to put them on and get them hot. We're going to make some greens, but we don't have to make any vegetables when we already have some left like this. So this too going to go over here and set it on just warm, low heat, and they'll get, when they get hot, then we'll taste them. Maybe they should taste better than they did when we first cooked them, and they'll be ready to go. So we're just going to warm them up now, get them good and hot, then cut them off and let them just sit on the stove until I get back from church. So at this point, I'm going to take these items and, well, I'm actually going to start putting stuff away now. I'm going to use some chicken broth, so I'm going to keep that out. I'm going to keep that chicken broth out so that I can use it. I'm going to use this butter so that will stay out. And these seasonings, I still want to be able to use them, so I'm going to keep them out. Now, while I'm waiting on the last, I'm going to make a gravy that we're going to use to put the chicken, put over the chicken. So at this time, I'm going to cut up about a half of an onion. You cut up about a half of an onion here. I'm going to chop these up a little bit more than I did the last ones. But you don't have to worry about it because they're going to get softened up really good. And we're going to put them in the pot. And then what we're going to do is put in just a half stick or more of butter. We want to season them with onions powder. We want to add some pepper to the onions. And we want to add some salt to it. And we're going to put in 2 spoons of this garlic, minced garlic. Because I'm making enough for a lot, so you wouldn't need that much, but you can decide pretty much what you want. And then we're going to saute these onions, soften them up a little bit. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar on them. Just a tablespoon and a half. 1.5 tablespoons. You don't need much sugar. This is just for mechanical reasons. Now you're going to put them on the stove and let them begin to saute. And then eventually you're going to put these here in that pot as well. And you're going to pour that over the chicken, cover the chicken with foil, and then let it finish cooking in the oven. So let me do this. Start getting this here cleaned up. So once again, we keep our eyes on all of your pots that's on. Our chicken is coming along pretty good. We want this to get fired up here because it's almost time for me to put that in the pan. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed up this sauteing of the onions. Okay, I gotta go off this one. My battery is out on that, so we'll just have this one. That there I'm gonna use. That there I may use again, and that I'm gonna use. Not sure I'm going to use this anymore. I'll keep that pepper and that salt out. crack the lid on these Neckbones now. They are boiling pretty good. That's gonna smell pretty good. These onions, seasoned onions, have been sauteed in this butter. So now we're gonna throw these sliced jalapenos in them. I'm going to put them back on there for just a brief moment. We're going to open one can of condensed chicken. This is not the right soup. Got the wrong soup. This is chicken noodle soup. You don't want chicken noodle soup. You just want condensed cream of chicken soup. Now that you put those in there, that is kind of like release all of those flavors. We're going to open this can, dump it in. And then we're going to go ahead and get all of this out of here. Now I'm going to put this about 2 cans of water. I'm going to bring it back down to 1 can, and I put some chicken broth in it. 1 can of water and about a can of chicken broth. Because you're going to be able to taste this and make sure it's to your liking. Right there, I got you, sis. If you'd have got this here, 1 can in here, and then you just let that cook like that. And once it cooked, you're getting ready to put it over your meat. And you don't have to worry about cooking it, you know, all the way, because it's going to cook in your meat. You're just going to, this is your gravy that's going to go over your chicken. If you was doing beef, or pork, you would make a gravy just like that for that meat as well. So I'm going to make sure that this gets boil. In the meantime, I'm going to take my chicken out. See, your chicken is nice and got a golden brown on it. So it's ready. So what are we going to do? To keep the right consistency with your gravy, I take the juices from the chicken and I pour it right into this pan of gravy that is made. We're not going to let that go out. Then we're going to take that now and we're going to get it all mixed up in there. And then we're gonna now pour this over your chicken. Now you want to kind of make sure that all your veggies gets down in the juice and not just laying on top of your meat. That way it'll cook into that juice and spread all over your pan. This makes for a good gravy that'll season your rice really good, and your chicken. Just keep that sealing, keep that flavor sealed into your chicken as well, with that gravy going all the way to the bone of your meat. So now what we do, we simply gonna cover this with aluminum foil. These cabbages can go all the way down, these greens can go all the way down to low. So we're gonna see what we seal these up on the sides so that it'll keep the steam in it. And we set it back in the oven. And this time we're going to turn the oven down. We don't need it on, well, we can let it, we're going to leave it on 350 until I get ready to leave. And then I'll turn it down. So now that is done. We come back over here, we check our neck bones. I'm beginning to smell them. Now, these are gonna cook and cook until they get really, I'm gonna let them cook till they get real tender. So they're gonna just cook. Now, another thing you can do is you can just pour the greens right in there, but we're just gonna let these greens kind of stand on their own. Maybe. We might put them in there, but I doubt it. We're gonna let them just stand on their own. Those are our collard greens. Those are our cabbage here. And our cornbread is here. Now I'm going to put a covering over this cornbread just to keep it breathing. Just to cover it on the top of the stove here. So now we have our chicken is here. This oven can go off. We just got one oven going with our chicken, and that's the meal for today, guys. So we're gonna wrap it up right here. Hope you'll come back. Listen, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Every So often we're going to be doing something special. We're going to eventually start getting into some pies and cakes and budgeting for a meal, a family, and a number of things on how to cut meat, cross the grains, all of those things that will help you become a bit better at what you are doing. So subscribe to the channel and make sure you go to Jerome, not Jerome Jones Ministries, because that's what we're streaming on right now. But we want you to subscribe to Eating Cooking with the Chef. That's my cooking channel. And as soon as I get it hooked up to this platform, I will be streaming it, this cooking session, to that YouTube channel and not the one that you're currently watching. So go to Cooking with the Chef and hit that subscribe button and share it for me. Will you do that? I'm Bishop Jones saying have a Jesus-filled day. Bye-bye.